Hello, I'm here to tell you about one of the recent features of PointFire 365. It's great if you're new to PointFire and you want to know what you could be doing next, what are the configuration steps you might have missed. And it's also great if you're an experienced PointFire user and you want to maintain a site, you want to know what has to be redone, what's changed since the last time. So if we start up PointFire 365 Modern, there's a new button here called Recommended Actions. If you go into the Recommended Actions, it goes through a list of the things that you could be doing with your site to make it more multilingual, but that you might not have done it. So on the high level, it goes through these things. So for instance, if you haven't activated it yet, in this case, it's green, it's configured, but I could go in there and, for instance, select different languages and restart that. Or here for the license, I could renew the license key. If I have a new license key, I could make it licenses at the site level or at the tenant level. The next thing is the Azure Text Translator. One of the features of PointFire 365 is the ability to machine translate the entire user interface. In order for that to work, you need to configure an instance of the Azure Text Translator within your tenant. So here, in this case, it's already done, but if not, you could put in the configuration level, the Translate API key, the API region that this service is configured for. So you could have it either the closest available translator, Azure region, or if you have some data retention laws or policies that you have to use, you can specify a particular region, a particular Azure data center in which it should be. Let's go back to the recommended actions. The next part is really quite exciting. Here it's telling me retranslate the interface. So I've already translated all the user interface elements, but here it is telling me with the red action needed that I have changed some of the user interface since the last time that I translated the user interface, and I may want to redo it. So user interface elements include all the SharePoint user interface elements, but also a number of other features that PointFire supports, like the translation of choice columns, like the translation of folders inside document libraries, folder names. So all of these things are things that you might have changed since the last time, and then you have to go and redo the translation, which is just a 1, 2, 3. It's very straightforward to do. The other thing that is telling me action needed has to do with the page library. So the page library is where all the pages are kept, and this is going through all the pages in the page library, and it's telling me that there are 3 pages in my page library that have not yet been translated at all. So you see this in this tab, pages awaiting translation, and I can translate them on the spot. I can just press the button, it gets translated. Very, very easy. And here is a list of pages. There's only one here that need retranslation. So these are source pages that have already been translated, but where the original has changed since it was translated, and that might need to be retranslated. So really, it saves you an enormous amount of work. It goes through all of your pages and tells you if there's something that you need to do to keep it translated. It also does the same thing for some of the optional features that PointFire has. So for instance, document libraries. You can translate documents in the document library or not. You may not want to translate documents. You can have multiple document libraries, but here I will select one, and it is telling me I have one document that is awaiting translation. I could translate it at this point, or it could be that it needs retranslation. And the same thing for lists. Lists are something that you might have multilingual features for, or you might not. It's optional, but here it goes through the lists, and it's telling me here I have a choice column that has not been selected to be translated. I have not made the list, this particular list. This is the events list, multilingual. If I go to the recruitment tracker, I would get some different results. So for instance, in this case, the choice columns have been translated and have not changed since they were translated. So everything's fine here. Okay. So there will be plenty more features that will be added to this in terms of recommended actions. These are the most important ones. And of course, there is on every single one of these pages, there's at least one guide. There's a fair bit of documentation, short documentation pages that tells you what each of these actions do. So this is great to make sure that your entire site stays up to date in all languages.